Here he is from New York. That Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back, Kevin McCullough. Glad to have you with us. Times Square is the locale, New York City, of course, and we are watching as the kind of whole epicenter of global politics is changing. So many nominations, so many different style of nominee from past administrations. And Michael Falkender rejoins us from the America First Policy Institute. And Mike, not just at Treasury or at Energy, but up and down the roster, you're talking about disruptors that are going to be put in charge of whole sections of government where, you know, I started the last segment off with the word bloat. We are going to cut that bloat. We are going to get rid of that. And we're going to have a leaner and meaner government that's going to be able to be much more responsive in many ways because of the lack of that dead weight. But when it comes to Treasury specifically, and this is your expertise, this team is going to be, besides energy, looking to do what? There was a lot of discussion towards the end of the first Trump term about getting into crypto. What does the privatization of markets look like? How does the Treasury Department interact with the Fed, and do you see battles there in the days to come? The value of the dollar, how do we reclaim dominance? There's a lot of big issues that Treasury has to deal with.
That's right. And so let me add to that list, because right out of the gates, the thing that Secretary Designee Bessent is going to have to deal with is that we've got a lot of the Trump tax cuts that are expiring in 2025, and the debt ceiling expires on January 1st. And so right off the bat, as soon as he is confirmed by the United States Senate, he's going to have to step in to lead the negotiations on behalf of the incoming administration to extend tax reform and then get it implemented. And he's going to have to work on the debt ceiling expiration, and that's going to have to be extended as well. So he's got that going on. Plus, as you said, the president-elect has indicated that he wants, once again, the United States to be dominant when it comes to the innovation in the payment system and in cryptocurrencies. Unfortunately, again, under the Biden administration, their fear of this innovation and their desire for government to control everything means that they have really curtailed a lot of that crypto innovation occurring here in the United States. And just as we discussed in the last segment, it's not as if that stops. It moves abroad. And so, you know, I for the first time ever in my adult life, I am hearing technology innovators tell them that it's better to innovate in Europe than in the United States. As somebody who is a, you know, proud America, part of the America First movement, the notion that we would ever cede one of the most innovative sectors of our economy to the Europeans is just a frightening thought. And so that means that Treasury has got to get in there and immediately create a regulatory environment such that that innovation takes place here in the United States.
I think that there was so much on the plate for the voter this go around that was so wrong in so many people's lives that you could almost get lost in the endless details of policy that needed to be adjusted just to get life back to, say, a sane kind of normal range of living. When you start talking about crypto and currencies and innovation and AI and energy needs, and let's extend that to defense and to state and to the development of weapons and hyperballistic missiles and all the technologies that we have fallen down on. Michael, we have really set ourselves back over the last 4 years on some of the areas we needed to be the most forward thinking on. I mean, just in defense, we were defending pronouns and we weren't talking about getting ships built. I mean, It's that kind of nonsense that allows a great nation to suddenly become a very middle of the road nation. And I want to see us keep this kind of lethal edge. That's another military term, but in the global economy, in the development of not just our own currency, but in the dominance of the strength of the dollar. What do we have to do, interest rate wise, from your perspective, in the first 6, 8, 18 months, to ensure that we're going to have the small business explosion, that we're going to have the reimagination and reinvention into entrepreneurialism, that we're going to get the small business community back on its feet? What has to happen in terms of policy?
Yeah, so let me preface this by saying that I have said to many audiences going into the election that this is the most stark choice for the American people in my lifetime.
Yep.
And it really was a choice between, do we want to empower the private sector, those Main Street small businesses that you were talking about, or do we instead think that it's government that needs to lead on all of the innovation? And we saw all of the areas where we ceded ground abroad because government had failed to keep ahead of all of those opportunities. And so I think that you're going to see not only the energy dominance and the extension of tax reform, but the deregulation that the next Trump administration is going to lead. You know, the president in the first term had a goal of removing 2 regulations for every new one enacted. I think you're going to see a larger ratio than that. And it's not just going to be the number of regulations, but the dollar impact of the regulation.
Mike Falkender, we appreciate all that you've done at AFPI. I'd love to see you back in Trump 2.0. Who knows if that'll happen, but thank you for what you did in Trump 1.0.
Stick around for more of That Kevin next.
That Kevin Show.